He's no good to me dead. Well, how about slightly inebriated? Sure. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today let's take a little bitty look at the Bandai S.H. Figuarts Star Wars Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Now we've been waiting a while for this. This has popped up at a couple of Bandai shows where they were kinda, don't take pictures of this. We don't want the world to know that we have all these prototypes just floating around. And they do. There is a lot of them. And Boba Fett being Boba Fett, it's that character, you know? Boba Fett is the man. But there's already a version out there that's going to be super hard to beat, so I'm going to see what this has to offer, and then we'll go from there. Looking at the package, it's your standard S.H. Figuarts box. It has the window, it has the silver to denote that it is from the original trilogy. On the side, just a promotional shot of the figure, more logos. On the back, more pretty shots of the figure in different poses, what it comes with. Down here's the warnings, the unreadables. On the other side, Star Wars logo, more silver. Here's the hologram to show that this is not a bootleg. Down on the bottom, more legalese, more unreadables. You're winning lottery numbers. I'm gonna get this open. I'm excited. I want to see what's going on here. Instructions, it shows the different hands. Oh, the rangefinder moves down. Oh, warning, delicate. It's also pointing out the connection point between the pouch on the belt being delicate too. Put the gun in the hand, you have moving shoulder pads, and then this plugs into the shoulder. Oh, all over the place. Have a piece of plastic between the helmet and the rocket just to protect it a little bit. Looks like it's been through some shit. Look at that. What's that dinghy in that? I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I did not expect to like this figure at all based on my overall kind of hatred of the S.H. Figuarts Jango Fett. But messing around with it for the past hour or two, it may have convinced me otherwise. Looking at it overall, it's just proportioned really, really well. The helmet may look a little bit small. It doesn't quite look like a real human head could fit under here based on the proportions of the rest of the figure, but it works for Boba Fett. What more can you ask for? The sculpt work is a little bit soft. It could be a little bit more wrinkly in the wrinkles, a little bit more foldy in the folds, a little bit more crotchy in the crotch, but it hits all the basic elements of Boba Fett himself. All the design elements are there. And when I mean soft sculpt, I guess I don't mean soft itself. I just mean that it lacks some detail. It lacks some realism, I guess. Because all the edges are sharp, the little mechanical parts that need to be kind of detailed are detailed. Even down here on the boots, you have these silver little spiky things, whatever those are. But when it comes to paint, it just feels like it's the base colors of all the parts with some silver kind of just tampoed on, like they put the stencil up, sprayed it, sent it on down the line. What needs to be detailed is detailed very nicely here and here. And the jetpack is in nice colors. I just feel like it needs to be a little bit more worn. There's some fade work up here at the rocket, and then again you see some silver on the helmet. But I think with the lack of dirtiness or any kind of shading to the jumpsuit underneath, it kind of emphasizes the lack of wrinkles and cloth and texture. So while it comes out a little bit cartoony, it's still definitely Boba Fett. And being Boba Fett and this costume, there are some characteristics that don't really play into the whole action figure thing really well. Like the pants cuff coming down at an angle forward, it really gets in the way of up movement to the foot. I wish that had been a separate piece or something just to get out of the way a little bit. The left gauntlet kind of gets in the way of the hand just because of how this comes up and this comes over and this comes around. But Bandai did kind of do something brilliant with the shoulders. The shoulder pads would have got in the way if they were attached to either the body or the shoulder. So what they did is make the whole thing a shoulder cap. What looks like the shoulder itself actually comes away from the body and allows for the movement underneath there. So it really enhances the movement of the shoulder up and down all around, and then you just close that off and it looks like it's there. Now that whole assembly with these Wookiee braids or Padawan braids or whatever they're calling them now, it does get a little bit annoying whenever you bring the arm out and around. It slips down in there and it wants to get in the way because this is not hard plastic, but it doesn't get up and out of the way. Once it's down in there, you feel like, oh no, it's locking me out. Perfect world, I think gluing that to the shoulder right there to keep it up and out of the way, I think that may be in my future. Because in some poses, it also likes to ride up and stay there. You got to pull it back down. The plastic cape, or whatever you want to call this thing, It's not really annoying. I haven't run into any big problems with it. But again, perfect world, I would probably replace this with a piece of cloth or something. That way you get some flow to it. You can get it up and over or whatever. I like all the silver that's punched in on the actual parts though. These buckles, this gauntlet, just little parts on this gauntlet. And you'll notice now that I'm over here, it doesn't have the hoses running out of here up to the shoulder. It's kind of hinted at, but not actually there. Which in this scale can be a little bit annoying, as much as I love the extra detail work on the Mafex. Ooh, I said the dirty word. I said Mafex, but that's later on. Going over articulation, there is a fragility to the whole thing. It almost feels like, oh, I'm gonna break something, but again, I've put this thing through the paces and I haven't had a problem. The rangefinder does come down, like the instructions say, be careful with that, even though it has a nice tightness to it too. If I put this up, I feel like it's gonna stay there. There's a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with a ball joint at the bottom. He can look up, can look down. Ooh, my favorite, nice tilt, swivel. Like we talked about, the shoulder pads get up and away, out of the way. And that reveals a ball joint going into the torso. You can come down, you can go up, you can go forward, you can go back. You can swing the arm up to almost 90, and then that rotates around. There's a tight swivel at the bicep. Double elbow comes most of the way up. The standard Figuarts wrist joint with a swivel hinge swivel. You can get it to go up and down, or you can get it to turn to go side to side. There's actually two torso joints, one at the bottom of the shirt piece and then one down in the waist. But even with two, you don't get a lot of crunch. You get about right there. You get more arc back, but it does help a lot with the tilt. And then of course some swivel. The jetpack does have ball jointed thruster pieces right there, or side to side. These pouches are also hinged to get up and out of the way, like the instructions say again. They're kind of delicate. I wouldn't get too crazy with those. A cap right here to kind of hide the articulation that moves back and forth with the leg. And then there it moves up to, oh, braids want to come off. Because of this pouch on the front of the leg and then the crotch piece itself, you get up to about right there. Back, it hinges out to about right there. You can get some twist at the top of the leg. Double knee joint, he can't kick his own bounty hunting ass. You'll also notice these knee guards are attached to the inner piece, and on my left one, I actually popped it off a minute ago. Not a big deal, I've just had it plugged in and it is tight. It takes a little bit of force to pull it out, but I'll eventually probably glue that on to keep it from falling off into the Sarlacc carpet monster. There's a ball joint at the ankle, goes back about there. There is forward movement for tilt, and then there's a toe joint that goes about right there. For accessories, Boba Fett comes with several sets of hands. He comes with two fists. He comes with two splayed out hands. He comes with two grip C-shaped hands for holding the weapon up. C is for cookie. Then he comes with two trigger finger hands that can be used as either, trigger fingers or pointing at stuff. Not a problem popping those off. It is a little bit tight, but ooh, such a satisfying pop. And the other hand just boop, goes right on. Now on the left side, because of all this gauntlet trickery here, the rocket does feel like kind of a separate piece that's glued on. I've switched the hands a couple times and it's come a little bit loose. Plus you have this. I'd suggest grabbing here and here and then pulling, and then you just kind of work between everything to pop the next hand on. And then the figure comes with its blaster. Very nice, sharp sculpt work here, but like the rest of the figure, it lacks some paint apps. I feel like it should have some wear and tear. Or some silver right here, I think. But I will compliment Bandai saying the hand is soft enough to just throw the gun into it. Because the gun itself is harder plastic. There is a little bit of flex to it, but I wouldn't go bending on it. Braids, you're gonna get glued on, I swear. It does feel a little bit large, and that may be accurate, actually. We only have another version of this gun from another company. The rest of them are Empire Strikes Back, but all of them are smaller than this, which we'll look at right now. Height-wise, the figure stands ever so slightly under 6 inches tall. Now, if you get on Google and type in Boba Fett height, you get 6 foot. If you type in Jeremy Bullock height, you get 6 foot. So at 6 inches tall, as much as my heart wants to say the S.H. Figuarts is undersized, this is actually perfectly sized for 1/12 scale. Here it is with the S.H. Figuarts Jedi Luke and then the S.H. Figuarts Jango Fett. He's taller, he's broader than Jedi Luke, that works, and he's the exact same size as the Jango Fett. That's perfect because, clone of the other. There's just something I do not like about this figure though. The shoulders, the head, the looseness in the torso, I don't know, maybe I'll have to revisit this someday. Here it is with the Hasbro Black Series Bespin Han and the Bandai S.H. Figuarts A New Hope Han. Now go to Google again, type in Han Solo height, and it says 5'9", but if you type in Harrison Ford height, you get 6'1", 2", I can't remember at the moment. So if you're going to actual human actor height, this works. Here's the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett, and then a custom vintage style Boba Fett made by Adrian Vasquez. Definitely a little bit bigger proportions on the Black Series figures, but height isn't as off as I thought it would be. But we start to get a little bit larger with the Bandai Star Wars model kits. I still need to do some dirtiness to the model kit here. I did put the silver on though, that's progress, right? And then here's a custom Bandai model kit in the style of the holiday special. But here's the biggie, here's the face-off. Here's for the championship Boba Fett of the world. At least when it comes to my display. Here's the Medicom Mafex Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett and the Medicom Mafex Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Slightly larger scale, yes. Well, actually, the bodies are about the same size. It's all in the helmets here. I feel like these helmets could actually hold a human head under there with some padding to keep it from just bouncing around. More detailed sculpt work over here, more realistic paint job overall. I still have to give it to the Mafex, but this is my new stunt Fett. So the Medicom's for my close-up shots when it's all Boba Fett, but this one will be my down and dirty, be behind the scenes, all in pictures, posed around, because they all have their pluses. But look at the difference in the size of the guns. It's crazy. Slightly smaller figure gets the bigger gun. So at the end of the day, very surprising. I like I said, I didn't expect to like this as much as I do. And I probably shouldn't. Like I said, there's a softness to it. There's a cartooniness to it, but at the same time, it's much different than what we have. I mean, we already have fantastic Boba Fetts, so this kind of changes it up a little bit. If you're more of a fan of the clean look, then this is for you. If you don't trust Medicom and more of a Bandai person, this is for you. And truthfully, if you're more of a fan of true 1/12 scale, this is for you. It's just a great piece. Yes, it has its downfalls, but it also has a lot going for it. But standing on my shelf, I can't help it. I'm still going to give it to Mafex. It's just damn fantastic. You just look at it and you think, whoa! The Mafex is for posing, taking close-up shots. This is for playing. And there's nothing wrong with playing with action figures. For the price, I do kind of wish it came with some more extras though. But you can say that about a lot of imports from a lot of companies. Maybe a fire blast stand of some kind, or fire shooting out, or the rope coming out and going around, or something. Although Django came with a bunch of stuff and I never use it, so I may be talking out of my ass right now. But I had a lot more fun than I thought I would with this thing. I saw it in the package and I thought, oh, nope. I got it out of the package. I said, oh, yep. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.